Thank you, Charles. Wow. Huh. Standing ovation. I like that. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm married to an entertainment reporter. My wife is an anchor at E! News. And I've been very lucky because I've gotten to meet a lot of megastars in the world. And I got to be honest, a lot of times I'm very disappointed. I thought, man, like, that's not who I thought it was, you know? And I would watch them on the screen or on television, and it was a tremendous letdown. Well, our next speaker, I can assure you, is not a letdown because I just got to spend some time with him backstage, and what a class act. True gentleman, a nice guy, and a hero of mine. Although I have to be completely honest, as a kid growing up in Chicago, as a Bulls fan, he caused me a lot of heartache as a young man. But he has built an incredible career on the basketball court. Many say one of the greatest basketball players of all time, a true legend, living legend, and an incredible guy. But he decided to leave the basketball court for the boardroom. And he's setting records and blazing trails in an incredible manner. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous. He is the president and CEO of Magic Johnson Enterprises. And I love what he does because his goal is to provide high-quality products and services that focus primarily on ethnically diverse and underserved communities. His portfolio is impressive. Have some of you heard of the LA Dodgers? Yeah, he owns them. The WNBA team, the Sparks, Clear Health Alliance, Aspire, which is an African-American television network, and this is just to name a few. I could go on and on, but we'd be here for about an hour or two. So he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our generation, that is for certain. But I think in his heart, his biggest passion is the Magic Johnson Foundation. Magic is committed to bringing jobs and brand name businesses to underserved communities. He's a true pioneer and a connector of people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary Earvin Magic Johnson.
Oh, go white. Thank you. Oh, go white. Thank you. I see. Man, Michigan State people out here. Hi,
Wow.
everybody. And I want to congratulate Charles and Tristan and Debbie. Man, they were unbelievable in what they've been able to build. Let's clap for those three. Yeah, they were wonderful.
So, a lot of people are very excited you're here, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
On behalf of everyone at Intuit, it's a real privilege and an honor to have you here because
I appreciate it.
you embody the entrepreneurial spirit.
Thank
But
you.
I want to go back to when you were a kid. When you were a kid, just tell us what that was like and tell us what your dreams were outside of sports.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that first it was just being a basketball player and playing in the NBA. And then I ran into...
Small goal.
Yes, small goal. And then I ran into two African-American men who own businesses in Lansing, Michigan. Now, Joe Ferguson and Greg Eaton, I didn't think that us being African-Americans, we could own businesses. And they proved me wrong, and I'm so happy they did because my thinking changed. So then I said I wanted to be a businessman and a basketball player. And I asked them to be my mentors. At that time, I was 16 years old. And thank God that they decided to become my mentors. And ever since then, it was all about not just playing the game of basketball, but learning the business of the game of basketball. So when I got drafted, first winning the state championship in high school, the national championship, beating that blonde-haired guy named Larry Bird, you know who that is. And the NCAA championship, and then going on with the Lakers. Thank God, Dr. Buss, I went to him and said, I also want to learn the business of the Lakers. And he decided to become a mentor too. And I would say to everybody out there, make sure you get some mentors. And I did something that was very bold, Bill. I went to the marketing department of the Lakers. I said, I want to have all the season ticket holders, I want to know who they are that sit on the floor and right behind the Laker bench. So he gave me the list, and I cold called 20 CEOs, and I took them all out to lunch and asked them how they got started, what should I do to get started in terms of being a businessman, and they gave me all great information. And I took that information and turned it into, Magic Johnson Enterprise. So I think all you guys out there, make sure you get some mentors because that's very important.
And I think, I once read that most small businesses fail because the owners let their egos get in the way.
Yeah.
And they think they're know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm great, and don't tell me what to do, and I know what I'm doing.
Right.
But you checked your ego at the door,
Yep.
and you had the courage to call these guys up. I think that's pretty impressive.
And also to say, I don't know business. I think it takes all of us have to have courage to say, you know what? I don't know business. Let me seek help to help me get started, because the toughest thing is in business is that first year. How you build a business, also a successful business. It's one thing to build a business, but to build a cash flowing business, a successful business is another thing. And thank God that I was able to meet with them. And when I started off very, very small, my first thing was a radio station, and it was very small. And I learned a valuable lesson about always make your business about the customer and not about yourself. And you were right about making sure you get your ego out of it, because since that lesson, it's always been about the customer. And it's always been about over-delivering to the customer. And if you know them well, and if you can meet their expectations with great customer service and all of that, you can get the retention that you're looking for. And then you can build your brand.
Now, I'm sure when you were starting out, a lot of people didn't think you were going to make it. You were an athlete.
Yep.
You're a basketball player. And you probably had that fear of failing, which I think holds a lot of people back. They're afraid they're going to fail. They're afraid what their teammates or their colleagues are going to say. Therefore, they don't even try.
Right.
How did you overcome that fear?
Well, first I believed in myself, and I believed in my business plan. And when I looked and saw that Latinos, have $1 trillion spending power, African Americans have $1 trillion spending power, but there was nobody really invested in urban America and also going after their disposable income. I said, wait a minute, there's no competition. I got $2 trillion I can go after. I think it makes good sense to build a business that's geared to minorities, and that's what I decided to do. And so the fear, we all gonna have fear in the back of your mind, but it's about your work ethic. It's about understanding who you're trying to make become your customer. And then, like I said, over-deliver to them. And speak to them every day. Because I was a big believer in going out. I do a lot of town hall meetings. I asked them, what do they want to see happen? See, I didn't go in and try to build a business and hope that they would come. I went out and asked them, what do they want to see happen in their community? And the funny thing was, I was driving around the community, and I saw a lot of Latinos and African Americans lined up at Starbucks, right? Wow, let me go jump in this line because I don't know what Starbucks is. So I jumped in that line and I started drinking that coffee. I said, oh, no wonder everybody's in this line. The coffee was great. So then I said, man, if they have all these minorities that love Starbucks, but there's none in our community, maybe I should go up and call Howard Schultz. So I cold called Howard Schultz, CEO, chairman of Starbucks, and said, I told him, Bill, the growth of his business would be through urban America. But there's none in our community. He has some on every corner in suburban America. So the great thing about it was I brought him down, and I was in the theater business. I did a deal with Sony and built Magic Johnson Theaters. So he came down, and Waiting to Exhale came out that Friday, Whitney Houston's first movie. So I had about 5,000 Latino African Americans wrapped around the corner, women, to see Whitney Houston in this movie. And Howard got a chance to see it, because sometimes you got to take an investor to the deal or potential partner to the deal so that they can see it for themselves. So he got a chance to see all this spending power of minorities. And then I took him into my biggest house, which was 500 seats. And every woman in there thought they knew Whitney Houston personally. So they started talking to the screen, "Hey, girl, why you still with him? And girl, you should dump him." Because I tried to tell him minorities, we go to the movies a little different than everybody else. And he pulled me out of the theater 20 minutes in and said, "Magic, I never had a movie-going experience quite like this." But guess what? That got me the deal. If he hadn't come down to Los Angeles and seen the spending power, seen it for himself with his own two eyes, I don't know if we had did that deal, but he did it because he got a chance to see it for himself. Then what made it really unique, and this is really important for all of you, if you get a chance to have a company invest with in your business, make sure that you win, right? That you're successful, because Howard Schultz gave me that opportunity, not only his company, but his brand. He entrusted me with his brand. And sure enough, we won. The headlines in the paper when we did the deal said, no way minorities would pay $3 for a cup of coffee. Well, we'll pay $3 for a cup of coffee. We quite don't know what scones are. So to do well in my business, I had to take the scones out of my Starbucks and put in things that resonate with the urban consumer. Sweet potato pie, pound cake, sock it to me cake. Guess what? My per caps were $4.59. His per caps $4.51. They said it would never work, and my per caps were higher than his per caps. Then I took out, that's it.
That's the student, teaching the teacher right there.
Because, see, if you know your customer base, you know what they want, and you can deliver that to them, they become your loyal customers and your brand ambassadors for life. See, a lot of people worry about, how am I going to market my business? If you do well in terms of delivering the best customer service to the clients that you have, they become your brand ambassadors. They'll go out and speak about your business for you. So remember that. Oh, they want me off already? Bill, that was the cue.
Hey, my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
There's a lot of small business owners here, and I think a lot of small business owners have a hard time transitioning and growing their business because they're holding on too tight.
Yeah.
And I would assume in the beginning, when you first started your first business, it was probably challenging to go to that next level.
Right.
How do you release the reins? How do you say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to be the conductor of the orchestra,
right,
and not try to play every instrument, and therefore you can make better music?
Right.
What was your trick?
Well, number one, you got to have the executive team and the management team, and also listen to them. And you have to empower them to make good decisions. And then you have to make sure that you reinvest in your business. See, a lot of times you want growth, but you've changed your lifestyle because you had a successful business, and now you're taking out that money when you should be actually putting it back into your business. So say you have, let's go quick serve right quick. Say you own 10 McDonald's. Well, the next thing, you want to have the 11th one and the 12th one. See, I didn't take any money out of Starbucks, very little, until we went to 100 stores. So we built 125. But the great thing about it was, when I did start taking money out, man, those were some big checks. But I wanted number one to build number two. So I reinvested in my business because I knew that if I get to 100 stores, 125 stores, not only will I make a lot of money, but also when I'm selling them back to Howard Schultz and Starbucks, that was going to be a great check. So reinvest back in your business. Have a great executive team, because that's very important. And then I think for make sure you're ready for growth. Can you manage the growth that you're about to have and receive? Because a lot of times you want growth and growth comes and you're not prepared for it. So I want all of you to write this down. Always do a SWOT of your business twice a year. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your business. I do a SWOT twice a year of myself as a CEO and then of my business. And it just saved me 2 major contracts. I did a SWOT last year, 6 months in. I was about to get 2 major contracts, but I didn't have the executive team to manage that business. And I'm glad I did it because I hired 3 people new. Now I'm able to manage that deal, keep the clients happy, I'm happy. And so you have to understand the SWOT is really good for small businesses to help them understand that, are you ready for the growth that you're about to receive? So make sure you put yourself in a position that you are ready for that. And sustainability, we want growth and sustainability. That's what we fight for.
That's a great point, because I talk to so many small business owners, and in their mind, they think they're running their businesses a certain way. Mm-hmm. But when you do the SWOT, you kind of look from the outside in, and it's a lot different. And I always say, remember when you were a kid and the first time you talked into a tape recorder and you played it back? You said, that's not me. Yeah. I don't sound like that.
Exactly.
Because in your mind, you think you sound a different way than you actually do. And I think that's what SWOT will do. It'll kind of give you a realization of as to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. The goal for everyone here is to build a successful business.
Right.
That's our goal. And someone told me early on, I grew up with school teacher parents.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up with means and with wealth. And they said, it's easy to be poor. It's difficult to be wealthy. You have to learn how to have success and how to have wealth. And it leads me to your prior industry, the NBA. I just watched the documentary on ESPN. It was 30 for 30 called Broke. And it said 60% of NBA players within 4 years of leaving the league are broke. Yep. And that happens a lot with entrepreneurs. They get a little taste of the money, and they don't know how to do it. Yep. How did you learn to have that wealth and that success?
The team around me, good business manager, good money manager. And I think that was really important. And also, I had people around me who said no. See, a lot of times we get people, yes people, and that hurts our business, and we make bad decisions because that person is just saying yes because you're their boss. And I told my people I didn't want that. If I have a bad idea, tell me it's bad, but tell me why it's bad. And then what do you have that's going to be better than what I have? And explain that to me. Because I'm a very detail-oriented CEO. I like to have it spelled out. And so I think that a lot of these guys live over their means. They spend more than they make. And that's when you get in trouble. And so I'm a guy who I don't get into the material things, owning 20 cars. What they don't understand, as soon as you drive it off the lot, the car depreciates, So you have to understand those type of things. So I never got caught into that. I love business. And then I want to share with the audience, because this is very important. I thought that because I was Magic Johnson, that bankers were going to love me. The only thing they loved was a picture and the autograph. And I got turned down 10 times when I was trying to get trying to get them to finance my business strategy and my business deal. And I believed in urban America so much, and I believed in my strategy so much, I went to the 11th bank, and they finally said yes. So you're going to get turned down, but keep going, because eventually somebody's going to say yes. And sure enough, when that person said yes, that's when I started to take off. And now all those 10 banks are trying to now give me money.
They're knocking on your door, aren't they?
My door. Yeah. So it's amazing that, everybody thinks that, because I was Magic Johnson, it was going to be easy for me. Actually, it was harder, because I had to dispel that myth, the dumb jock. But I know urban America, I listened to them, and I deliver to them what they want and what they need. And then what I'm really proud of is the 50,000 employees across the country that we put to work every single day. I'm very proud of that.
When you look back on your journey and on your business career, what's the biggest mistake you made?
The biggest mistake I made was Larry Bird and I were the number one, number two in T-shirt sales. So I called Larry, even though I hated him, I called him. And I said, Larry, did you get your check? Because, you and I are number one and two in sales, but I didn't receive my check. And he said, no, I didn't receive my check. So I called the Commissioner Stern. I said, Commissioner, where's Larry and I check? We're selling them millions of T-shirts, but we didn't get a check. He said, well, the Players Association sold the rights to the league. They were making billions of dollars. They sold the rights for $150,000, right? And I'm sitting here like, wow. So he said, what I'll do for you, Commissioner Stern, is if you start a store, I'll supply you with all the shirts and hats and so on and on. But you can come down and pick them out at the Super Show. So I went and picked out the jackets, hats, boom, boom. I put them in the store. I bought everything that I like, right? And nothing sold for 3 months because I was trying to be the owner and the buyer. And I learned a valuable lesson. First, hire somebody with that buying expertise, because that was not my forte. And then make your business always about the customer. So make sure you put in that store everything that young people want, not what I wanted. And so that was a couple $100,000 mistake. And since then, I've never done that ever again. So I stick with what I know, what I'm smart at. And then I hire people who are smarter than me to do their job as well.
Well, yeah, it's great advice. Mm-hmm. But I love your philosophy because you take your grand plan and you break it down, almost like a marathon runner. When a marathon runner runs the race, he breaks it down. I got to get to mile 5 and 10 and 12. Right. Take me through your process. You've got your end goal and it's X, and you're at the starting line. How do you break that down to make it more manageable?
Yeah, I think first of all, you have to forget the grand plan. It's how you start. And see, I started really small. And because I had small wins, so you start with the first business, and it was successful. And so that allowed me to go into number 2, but I was really outstanding at that one thing. And nobody outworked me. I'm a worker, so I get up every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like this morning, I got my hour and a half workout in, and then I'm here. Then when I go back to LA, I'm in the office all day. Because if you're a small business owner, you have to put the time in. You have to put the time in. And so, but I was really good at that one theater, right? So I proved everybody wrong. They said the movie theater is not going to do well. Well, we were the top 5 highest grossing theaters in Sony's chain, and then we were in the top 10 in the nation. That one movie theater in Los Angeles that I started, because I was out there every day making sure, shaking people's hand, kissing
Serving
all
the
the
popcorn.
babies. Oh, I was one day, 2 people didn't show up. I was serving popcorn. They were like, Magic,
Imagine that.
Popcorn. Yep, come on. Here you go. But that's what you have to do to make your business successful. And so I started off with that win. Oh, thank you. I started off with that win, which led me to number 2 theater, which led me to number 3. And I think that you can't forget a grand plan. Build small, get the small wins, and then that'll take you to the big wins. Now, the movie theaters got me Starbucks because I finally got a track record of success. And that's what you're building for. You're building for a track record of success. And once you get that, then you can move on to the bigger deals. So the theaters gave me that. Starbucks took me to another level, right? Starbucks allowed me then to get the Lakers. The Lakers allowed me to get the Dodgers. You see, that's how I was able to grow and get bigger. Now, those who are going after contracts, and I want to speak to them 2 seconds. I have a business called Sodexo Magic, and so I have to go after a lot of RFPs. Please understand what value you're going to bring, not just meeting the RFP, but also the value you're going to bring to that corporation, because you have to understand what that corporation is all about. So if you're going after, say, for instance, Disney, what does Disney really stand for? What are they about? So you can understand now how to meet the RFP if you understand the culture of Disney. So I just over-deliver. I used to have the Disneyland contract. So Mickey and Minnie eat my food, right? And so I said, I'm going to over-deliver with this contract. If I over-deliver with this contract, the bigger contract is Disney World. So when that comes up, that's going to put me in position to get that contract. Sure enough, a year ago, both contracts went up for rebid. I won both. And it's because I over-delivered to Disneyland that put me in place to get Disney World. And I think never forget that. Over-deliver. Because in the marketplace today, it's not enough just to deliver. You got to over-deliver. And your business will grow if you over-deliver to your customers. And I live by that. That's in my office and all through my offices, over-delivering, and we are the communities that we serve.
Well, I think I speak on behalf of the 4,000 people here that you've over-delivered for us this morning.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Magic.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, everybody, in your businesses.